When you think of an ultra-exclusive multi-million-dollar hypercar, it's pretty hard to beat anything with a Bugatti badge. This French auto manufacturer has been building some of the most powerful production cars for decades, and today I'm at Concours d'Elegance here in Pebble Beach, California, where the company is showing off their next generation. This right here is the 2026 Tourbillon. Let's take a first look. So if you guys are familiar with the Bugatti name, you'll know that this auto manufacturer builds some of the most powerful production, most exclusive, most luxurious hypercars in the business. I know this brand personally, of course, from the Veyron, which was replaced by the Chiron about a decade ago. This right here, again, is the replacement for the Chiron, the Tourbillon, which the name actually comes from high-end Swiss watches. That's kind of the watch face that you see in a lot of those high-end watches. That's where the name comes from, and you're gonna see that theme carried over throughout the rest of the vehicle. Now, we're actually here at Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. We're at the Bugatti basically display where the company is showing off this beautiful blue Tourbillon. Now remember, this car is ultra exclusive. The company is only going to be building around 250 for the world. In fact, they're all entirely sold out. You can see it's on this little turntable here, so I'm just going to kind of follow the vehicle as it kind of spins around. But looking at the design of this car, it really does have the look that's instantly recognizable as a Bugatti. However, the company was quick to point out that this new model is built off of an entirely new chassis. It shares nothing with the old Chiron, right down to the powertrain, which we'll talk about in a moment. But you can see even the rear light design. You can see every design element of this car is purposeful. You can see the entire body is made out of carbon fiber. You have this massive LED light bar that kind of has this really cool wave effect with the Bugatti kind of stamped along inside the LED lights. You can see the wheels. Those are a massive 21-inch wheel at the rear on a 345 width tire. The front also has a slightly smaller 20-inch wheel with a slightly narrower 285 width tire. And you can see in the typical Bugatti fashion, you actually have the two-tone color scheme. Now, this is actually a heritage color for them. I was told the name, but I can't remember the pronunciation of the name, and I'm not going to want to butcher it. You can see the entire vehicle does have kind of like that two-tone look, but they're essentially the same color. So at the front, you have a slightly lighter hue that blends nicely with the darker hue of that same blue. This is also the first time Bugatti is kind of doing this like roof line, the doors, which kind of go into the actual roof. They had to do that because they lowered the actual roof line of this vehicle tremendously to give it that sleeker look. But then at the front, you can see it has the traditional Bugatti styling elements here with the horseshoe front fascia, the active aero that you're going to see, the functional aero intakes. You can see there's also a little front trunk storage area there, which Bugatti says you can buy basically a custom set of luggage, airline size luggage that'll fit perfectly into that. You can see the headlights, full LEDs with 4 individual LEDs, although they're kind of made up of, it looks like 12 individual modules, which look cool. The wiper blade, you can see a lot of exclusive cars kind of have like a monoblade wiper that kind of sits, and you can see Bugatti's kind of has this really interesting character line that flows from here, goes into the mono wiper blade. It also follows along the roof line of the vehicle, which also kind of follows into the interior where you have like a little LED light strip there, and then also has this other metal piece that kind of goes into the third brake light, which as you can see, the engine is kind of like a piece right there that is literally on display for everyone to see. It's a V16 engine. So this is a brand new 16-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that is also co-developed by Cogsworth. This engine on its own delivers 986 horsepower and a little over 700 foot-pounds of torque. It combines with 3 electric motors and a 21 kilowatt-hour battery pack to deliver up to 1,775 horsepower. That's right, nearly 1,800 horsepower in this thing, and actually makes it around 300 more horses stronger versus the Chiron when it first came out about a decade ago. Bugatti is also claiming with that 21 kilowatt-hour battery pack, you can do up to 30 miles of electric-only range. The performance stats are impressive. With the 8-speed dual clutch and all-wheel drive, of course, this car should get to 60 in 2 seconds, and it has a top speed of around 277 miles an hour. So it wouldn't be a Bugatti, of course, without some crazy quick numbers. So I'm really happy to see them delivering in that regard. This engine, Bugatti says it's an all-new from the ground-up engine. It replaces the old 8-liter quad-turbo W16 cylinder engine. So this is a naturally aspirated engine that revs. They said that they wanted this to have a much more visceral experience, and they're certainly going to deliver that. Now you can see the interior of this car. I mean, it looks literally like a piece of fine jewelry. You're going to find plenty of high-end materials in here. There's beautiful leather and carbon fiber and crystal sapphire glass. Even the gauge cluster, you can say, was designed by a Swiss watch company, and it looks, again, everything about the gauge cluster is very analog. The steering wheel has beautiful leather, which, by the way, the wheel itself actually sits on a fixed hub. So what Bugatti did is when you turn the wheel slightly, you can see the gauge display actually sits, or it stays in place, and the wheel around it basically turns. And they did it this way because they wanted the gauges to not be blocked. Of course, whenever you turn the steering wheel, you can see the seats. These are basically carbon bucket seats with these beautiful leather suede Alcantara. You can see the center of the vehicle also is free of any kind of display. So if you guys hate, big digital gauges and dash displays, you can see Bugatti just kind of gives you basically those 3 big dials there, along with a crystal shifter, your window controls, your climate controls over there, push button transmission selector, of course. And it all just makes for a beautiful cabin that really does feel like a work of art. So, I mean, obviously, if you're gonna be spending this much money, you expect the cabin to be really nice. You can see that LED light strip that kind of goes from the roof there. You can see there's more actual switches and hardware over there. It kind of follows the curvature. It follows the outside of the vehicle, really just makes this interior feel very bespoke. And again, even though Bugatti is kind of under the Volkswagen umbrella, nothing in this interior is shared with any of those other vehicles. And as you'd expect when you're paying well over $4 million for something like this. So in my line of work, I get to drive and see a bunch of ultra exclusive and really expensive cars, but seeing this thing in person is definitely a first for me. And obviously, when you're spending this kind of money, you expect and demand a lot of exclusivity. I mean, Bugatti as a brand has been doing this for almost a century, I believe. And the Tourbillon is definitely going to be able to carry that torch forward, because remember, this is a plug-in hybrid supercar with nearly 1,800 horsepower and stats, again, that are going to put a lot of those really quick all-electric vehicles to shame. And I love the fact that Bugatti decided to develop a bespoke engine for it that's high revving, that's naturally aspirated. It really is going to show the world that this company is here to stay. It's here to, again, continue to push the envelope forward for internal combustion engines, for speed, for luxury, for technology, and exclusivity. Now, as expected, if you guys want to get your hands on this vehicle, you need to be part of an ultra exclusive club, because all 250 of these have technically already been sold out. And remember, this is going to be a 2026 model year. And also, in case you're wondering, in case you're asking, what's a vehicle like this is going to cost? Well, the base price of this car should start at around $4.6 million. That's right, $4.6 million, and that's just the base end. So again, if you have the means to afford something like this, Bugatti typically says a lot of their customers buy a car like this because it's not their only car. They're buying this, adding to their collection. Most of them also have their own private jets. But being able to see something like this or even experience something like this is definitely a treat. So I'm hoping one day I'll be able to drive something like this and show you guys a full review for the channel. But for Redline Reviews here at Pebble Beach, Concours d'Elegance, I'm Sofyan Bey.